Well, good morning, everyone. Again, welcome to the NDSOS Zoom call. And we've been doing this monthly thanks to our host, Dr. Steve Johnson, who's a member of the NDSOS board. And this idea came out of our strategic planning session that we had last March. And Steve took this and ran with it. So we're doing a monthly Zoom on topics that are pertinent to our membership. And we appreciate you coming on board. I am going to turn it over to our host, Dr. Johnson, and he will introduce our guest for today's presentation. Again, thanks everyone for being here. Steve?
Thanks, Mike. Just to get everybody a little started on what's going to be happening, some quick announcements. Please remember that these sessions are recorded. As soon as we get done here today, I'll put them on my YouTube channel. So if you've got a teacher or something that wants to watch about the scholar or about the grant process, you can just have them hit that YouTube channel and they can learn a little bit more about that. In January, we have, in November, we're going to have UND on here, and they're going to be talking about their READ grant and some of their teacher shortage issues and the juvenile justice system that they're working with. And then in December, I'm working on scheduling a good close friend of mine, Ben Winchester. He'll be with us in December. So Winchester owes me a little bit. And that's one of the things. He spoke at 2 of our rural summits, and that was one of the reasons our strategic plan as NDSOS, we had a lot of trouble with people being able to come there and have such a busy schedule, taking a day out of their times, out of their busy schedule was often difficult. So that's one of the reasons that we have these meetings. The Rural School Collaborative is very close to me. I was at a think tank in Mitchell, South Dakota back in 2016, all talking about the rural teacher shortage and rural teacher developing of the rural teacher core. And you can see examples and pilot studies of that across the nation right now. And in fact, it's used in many of the international places right now. So it's a grassroots organization. The state of North Dakota small organized schools is now a hub member. And with that hub membership, we get a number of benefits for NDSOS members. And so with that, today our guest is Savannah Franklund. She's the development manager for the Rural School Collaborative. And she's located out at Monmouth College in Illinois. So with that, I am going to turn my screen off. I'm going to put it on mute, and I'm going to share the screen and let Savannah take over. Welcome to North Dakota, Savannah.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Steve. And thanks, Mike, for having me. I'm really appreciative of the offer to speak here with you all. And thank you to the NDSOS members for joining me this morning. All right, so yes, like Steve just gave such a gracious introduction, I'm Savannah Franklund. I'm the development manager with Rural Schools Collaborative. And yes, NDSOS anchors up our hub in North Dakota. And I'll explain all about what a hub is and all the benefits you all get as members of NDSOS. Steve, if you want to head to the next slide. Thanks. So we at Rural Schools Collaborative, we're a national nonprofit with partners across the United States. Our mission at RSC is to build sustainable rural communities through a keen focus on place, teachers, and philanthropy. And we feel that work towards accomplishing that is to promote advocacy for rural teachers, communities, and areas. We extend grant opportunities for rural teachers and classroom projects currently twice a year. And I'm excited to share all those opportunities with you all today. And then we also wouldn't be able to do the work we do without our partners. So strong bonds and partnerships. To dive a little deeper into our partners, we have regional hub partnerships. And what does it mean to be a hub? That is what we call our anchor institutions spread throughout 14 regions spanning over 25 states. Some hubs are single states, such as North Dakota. An example of spanning across a region would be the Northern Rockies. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the North Dakota hub. Next slide, Steve. So just a few fun facts you may or may not know. You guys are full of rural opportunity here in North Dakota, and we're so appreciative to be able to serve your state. North Dakota Small Organized Schools came on as a hub in 2018, and we've had a strong partnership with you and RSC since then. By teaching in or living in a rural area, RSC is, and given our partnership with NDSOS, you are eligible for many of our programs, which I'm excited to share with you all. Teachers in a hub region are eligible for the Celia B Godsil Fellows, YEA Council, the Young Educators Advisory Council, which I'll tell you more about, and being able to tell your story. The heart of what we do at RSC is really telling stories. Oftentimes, teachers, administrators, schools alike are all not thanked or heard enough. So that's what we really care about at the heart of RSC's mission. If you're a teacher or you know of a teacher doing great work, get in touch with us. I'm going to share tons of links after my presentation because just like Steve and I are talking about, after COVID, that's kind of what COVID opened up, is just the online world for us. So I'm going to give lots of opportunities, but don't worry, you don't have to write down links. I'm going to share a full link list with you all later. So like I said, we just want to tell your story, share your story, and get you connected with other rural teachers across the US. We currently have the I'm a Rural Teacher campaign, which is a website full of teacher stories, podcasts, and we even have a few international features, which we're working with currently. So if you want to get connected with rural teachers in Bhutan or Wales, we have connections, which is pretty cool. Their rule is so similar and also so vast compared to maybe our definition of rules, which is really interesting. Let's see. So I will share all of these links with you. Steve, if you want to head to the next slide. I'm sorry, actually, if you want to go back, I forgot to mention, we have the I'm a Rural Teacher Facebook group also available. And that's a great way to actually connect one-on-one. We don't even have to act as the liaison. And it's fun to invite your rural teachers because we often throw out rural prompts. So our most recent prompt was, you know you're a rural teacher when, and definitely two of my favorite sentence finishers there were, your students drive a tractor to school. I know I definitely had drive your tractor to school day. I'm originally from Colorado, so that speaks my language. Or your students miss a whole week for ag fair. I'm sure many of you can relate to either of these and many more. Okay, Steve, I just had to muse on those fun. Like I said, part of being a hub is your young educators are eligible to join our Young Educators Advisory Council. Our inaugural cohort was from 2020 to 2022, and that class just graduated, if you will, but actually two of our inaugural members are from North Dakota, Nick and Emma, and they both joined for a second term. So they are also part of this 2020 to 2024 council. The council meets once quarterly, and they come together. These are spanning about one to two young educators early in their careers, within their first 3 years of career teaching. It could be their first year or their first career, or this could be a second career choice. It's just folks within 1 to 3 years in their teaching career. They come together. My coworker John and I, we head up the YEA Council. And it's just a space for them to talk about what's gone well in their first 3 years, what could they use support with from their admin, their communities. Some folks move to rural to teach in rural, so how could communities kind of help inspire those teachers and keep them around? As Steve mentioned, just the rural teacher shortage is just vast across the whole United States. So just bringing these special people together and kind of helping them thrive, and how is one thriving in one area. One thing the inaugural cohort did, and if you want to go to the next slide, Steve, is put together the Resiliency Guide. It's a national resource, and it's completely free. I'm happy to share the link with you all after. And they put together earlier cheat sheets as 1 to 3 years into their early teaching career, frequently asked questions, keys for administrators and communities to know how to keep and retain the best talent in these rural communities, and also their stories and inspiration of how they maybe got through some battles and carried on and are still thriving as young rural teachers. Happy to pause now. I know I'm throwing a lot of information. If there are any questions, please feel free to jump in.
Savannah, I would highly recommend that resiliency guide to any principal. Most of us as rural schools have very young principals, and sometimes they're kind of thrown into the job.
Sure.
That's a nice little guide to really help give those administrators the support they have. Some of the latest research shows that a key to retention is administrative support, and this guide is well done, it's well documented, and it has a lot of research behind it.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, like I said, I'm more than happy to share all these links. I know I'm throwing a lot at you all, but this is definitely, and this was brought to you by young educators in the field. So this is their voice shining through what can help them. So definitely a great resource. I want to do a special spotlight to our North Dakota Young Educator Advisory Council members. Nick and Emma joined together for a podcast, which I'm really eager to share with you all so y'all can take a listen. And then I also wanted to share that North Dakota has just been tremendous, and Mike and I were speaking about this earlier on the call, and that you were both awarded part of our Catalyst Initiative 1 and 2, so the 2021 and 2022. University of North Dakota was granted, and then this most recent is the University of Maine. So fantastic, helping build the rural teacher pipeline, giving $25,000 to both of those schools to build their rural teacher corps. Another fantastic resource we have is the Teach Rural Job Board. It's a national free resource. So if you have a rural teaching opportunity, it's completely free to upload. Any sort of educator, school job that you may have, doesn't have to be a teacher, it could be a counselor, etc. Completely free to upload. And this job board goes a little beyond just your traditional job board, and that we feature place too. So we try to add in, what makes it your community worth moving towards. And actually Nick Fortesh from North Dakota, if you go to the job board, he has a great little why move to his rural community, included with some job opportunities. So please feel free to share this resource, use this resource, again, completely free to upload. And I will share the link to upload jobs to this. We just have tons of additional projects that I don't think I could squeeze in here today, but definitely worth noting. Like I said, we do have international partners that we are working with the Rural Educators Across Borders program. It is on the I'm a Rural Teacher website, which I'll share. So go ahead and take a look at that. We have regional caucuses, which are working with the policy playbook partners and striving for policy and advocacy. So we just have done a recent report on that, which I'm happy to share with you all. And then also working with broadband advocacy campaigns with the National Rural Education Association. A lot going on. I wanted to call out one of our immediate opportunities I'm pleased to share with you all is the National Forum to Advance Rural Education. Steve was saying that he'll be there along with the RSC team, so we'd love to see you there, either in person or virtually. I will say that in-person registration does close tomorrow, so I will share this link with you all right after the call. But if you'd like to attend virtually, we also are offering 50% off for K-12 educators for the virtual registration fees. So with the virtual registration, you get you can either join live or you can watch the recordings, and the recordings are available through December. So plenty of time to catch asynchronously. And it's just a really great conference talking about rural education, and the tagline sums up a fair chance at a good life. And that opportunity.
Savannah, you could mention that they were voted one of the top 10 conferences to attend in the nation by educators.
That's very true. And I will say the turnaround time is pretty quick. It is just in a few short weeks, October 20th and the 21st, and it is in Green Bay. But again, that virtual ticket is still fantastic, and you get so much great expertise and the recordings that last for months. So. Another immediate opportunity, which I'm sure you all are very eager to hear about, I think Steve did a great job highlighting this, was our Celia B Godsil Grants in Place Fellows program. Perfect. So the grant is extended to rural classroom teachers located within our Rural Schools Collaborative 14 hubs. So it's exclusive to those hubs. Thank you, NDSOS. You all are eligible, and so are your teachers. We asked that educators propose a place-based education project, and it will be completed by the end of this school year. Typically, we award the funds by early December. And so you should receive your grant fund check by just about winter break. And we usually have teachers starting it right as soon as they get back from winter break, about January. There is a required celebration of learning. So that would be your capstone of your project when you present. You work with us to present on your project at a national scale, and that's June 2nd. So typically your project happens between January and May. Place-based education is simply getting kids out of the classroom and engaging with their community. So it can be a student or teacher identified issue. And there is the jot form here explains what place-based education is and what's within the parameters of the project. You will notice that there are 14 hubs, so one teacher in each hub will be awarded $2,000 to carry out their place-based project. And then after the celebration of learning, which is on June 2nd, as I mentioned, the teachers or the fellows will be awarded $500 just as thanks for their dedication to their students and community. I want to call out that applications are due by next Friday, October 14th by midnight Central. So the deadline is quickly approaching, but I'm happy to answer questions or walk through the form if it's helpful. I'll send out this form in an email, so it's a quick link. The application is very streamlined. We just want to preserve teachers' very important time. So it's pretty quick. You need a letter of support, just a quick 2-sentence email, if you will, from your building admin, just supporting that you've applied for the project, and should you be awarded, that you will receive the funds and be able to carry out the project by May or June of 2023. To give you all a little inspiration, here are some examples of projects completed this past spring. Abigail Parker in the top left here in Wisconsin created a pollinator garden. So she worked with her kindergartners and then her reading buddies in 6th grade and created a garden. She tilled and created this whole, it was just green space on their school's property, and now has a garden. She even had community members do a sign up throughout the summer to come water and weed and take care of the garden. So it expanded way beyond her kindergarten classroom and has just been a really momentous project. Will Miller here in the top right from Massachusetts created the geodesic dome. So this is a living dome, and you can see this was he wrote back to me, and I think this was sent in August. So these were all planted as little seedlings, and you can just see how his dome is thriving. His students all planted, they built this dome from hand and worked with the art department as well with his funds to create the dome, and then also the plants. And then the cafeteria at his school actually is using the plants for student lunches. In the bottom left, Camille and Dylan of Wyoming, they did fire reduction. So obviously a well-known problem in Colorado and Wyoming is our wildfires. It's picking up pretty largely. So Dylan was the physical education teacher, and Camille was she's a math teacher in middle school. And they did a whole section of like calculating how long it would take to get up to the peak of the mountain, and then worked with local park rangers to, map out where fire could spread and reduce it. And then they also presented in their community how to reduce the fires in the future, and also presented on large, well-known wildfires, how they started and how they could have been prevented. Finally, in the bottom right, Amy Kaufman of the Missouri Ozarks, yeah, her kids are standing in front of the future of a school farm. So this is a chicken coop that will one day serve as a chicken coop, not quite yet. We actually got to visit them, the RSC team, and they were scraping the roof of the little chicken coop off, and they acquired this land with the grant, and they're going to create a greenhouse just beyond the way here. They're using the funds for the chicken coop, and then they're going to create a farmer's market that the students will be completely in charge of on Fridays. So just another way to engage the community, and the school cafeteria will be able to use it as well. So we also have the National Signature Project Award, which will open in the spring. And this is open to all rural teachers beyond our hubs in the United States. Previously, we have awarded one singular project, and this past grant cycle, we had just incredible applications. So we've decided to expand our grant gifting, which is the best thing we can do. And we are now awarding one project at the 2,500 level, and then 2 runner-up projects at the 1,500 level. If you want to go to the next slide, like I said, this application opens in the spring. It's open to any rural teacher in the US, and it is 2,000 or 1,500 to carry out a place-based education project. Currently, this project is funded for the current cycle, and like I said, will open in early to mid-March of 2023. So I encourage you all I'm going to send out our mailing list to keep in touch with future opportunities like this. To give an example of our 2021 to 22 National Signature Project Award recipient, Haley Lancaster used her project funds to enrich her students in their local history. So she did tons of field trips with her project funds and tons of research. And then her students actually created these waysides for their community in the top left. And this is them seeing their projects for the first time in person, printed and delivered. So these students actually did the research and created these waysides, which now people who walk or drive or run past this on a daily see these, and now can also be enriched with their local community and learn things they probably didn't know before. So I know I've shared just tons of opportunities with you all, but there's tons of ways to get involved and stay involved. I'm going to share all these links, but we really encourage you to share your story. We love to hear from you. We can do a featured podcast, a written, oral, whatever you'd like. We'd love for you to post your jobs. Like I said, we have the free Teach Rural job board. And then we'd love to connect you as partners. Oh. So here's just a few links, but I'm happy to share more. And then I'm also happy to take questions or however else I can help from here. I know we have plenty of time left.
Savannah, if I can, I just wanted to mention that as a hub, our teachers are eligible for this. And the last 2 winners, last year, I think was Stacy Stecker. I think she's in Belfield. She did a community park restoration project. And again, you can go on the Rural School Collaborative website and look and read their stories. And I think the year before that was Sarah Fornes, a science teacher in Castleton, I believe. She did a water quality project. And also won some other awards for the work she did from EPA and a couple of other Environmental Teacher of the Year award, along with the grant in place.
That's fantastic.
Godsil scholarship. So as a hub school, our teachers are eligible. I think we have an application in, but we certainly would like multiple applications. So if you have a teacher doing something that, that $2,000 would help that project, by all means, get an application in, and $500 go directly to that teacher. Does anybody have any questions?
2 ways that you could ask questions. You can just take off your mic. I think we only have about 20 on right now, 18. So you can just turn on your mic and ask the question or comment, or you can put it in the chat And we'll move it over to Savannah. Yeah, the application process is really quite simple. Name of the project, short narrative, short budget, and sign off with your administrator so that they know what's going on.
And in the application, you can do it, you can go right to the Rural School Collaborative site and find the application. There's also a link on the NDSOS website and a little narrative about it, and it'll click you right into the application process. So if you have teachers interested, they can do it off the SOS site also. I'm going to mute again because I'm going down the road and I think I'm noisy.
All right, if there's no other questions, you know, Savannah, we'll call it a day, and I look
Thank you,
forward.
Savannah.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank
I'm happy to give you all a little bit of your time back, but thank you again, Steve and Mike. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak, and thank you all for joining and sharing this many opportunities with your teachers. Mike or Steve, I think I'll send you the email to disseminate to everyone else if that works for you.
That'll be just perfect, because the website alone, the Rural School Collaborative, is a wonderful website that gives you all kinds of stories. And if you're interested about North Dakota, you can find stories on Valley City State, the University of Mary, University of North Dakota, a number of projects across the state, including the winners of the previous winners of the Godsil grant here in North Dakota the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, if you'd like to, I'm going to stop the recording, and then we're looking forward to seeing you guys in November.
Thank you so much.
Steve, do you mind if we stay on for a
I'm
minute
going to
in
stay
case
on.